WrestleMania 40 has officially come and it has gone. It was one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, capped with one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time, with Cody Rhodes finally finishing his story. But us wrestling fans know that it's time to focus our attention to WrestleMania 41. And today we are going to be using WWE 2K24's Universe Mode to sim through all the way from WrestleMania 40 up until WrestleMania 41, taking a look at the storylines that the game creates, what happens at each pay-per-view, and what craziness could we see in the next 12 months. So I went ahead and created a universe that picks up right after WrestleMania 40, and we've set up all the new champions here, both on Raw and here on SmackDown as well, and we are just about set and ready to go. Now, we did have to add and take away some teams as well for this, and so we added A-Town Down Under. We added the Awesome Truth because they're currently the 2 tag team champions. We also took Bayley out of Damage Control and made Asuka and Kairi Sane the tag champions. So I made some minor edits to these teams. Nothing really crazy has happened. I guess we'll take Santos Escobar out of the LWO before we get started here. But other than that, it's pretty much normal for the most part. Oh, I did also add the Pride as well. I didn't add the Karrion Kross group because I don't really think, like, who cares? One more thing before we get started. I did take NXT off of this. I didn't want to do NXT PLEs as well as the normal main roster PLEs. So guys like Ilya, Trick, Carmelo, they're currently not on a roster. And so because they're not on a Raw or SmackDown roster, they're not really going to be a part of this video. Although I think that a lot of those guys will get called up within the next year. And who knows, maybe down the line we do a future video where we talk about what NXT could look like in a year according to Universe Mode. But without further ado, let's go ahead and simulate up until Backlash and see what this pay-per-view has in store for us. Okay, so we arrived at Backlash. Everything said championship match before, but these are not title matches. So just keep that in mind. This one is a title match, these ones are not, but this card is interesting to say the least. So the first match we have Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, DIY against Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Okay. Second match we have Chelsea Green and Piper Niven against Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Interesting. Third we have Bronson Reed versus Dexter Lumis. Okay. Seth freaking Rollins versus Braun Strowman. Okay, it's not awful. Then we have a U.S. title match between Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio. And the main event is Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins against Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. And I even took Santos Escobar out of the LWO, but he is their manager. Okay, interesting show here from Paul Levesque. I know we're all holding our breath at this amazing Backlash card. What a card right after one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. So let's simulate, I guess, and see what happens. So the first match of the night, DIY defeat Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter defeat Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Dexter Lumis defeated Bronson Reed. Braun Strowman defeated Seth freaking Rollins in a surprise a little bit, I think. Logan Paul retained the United States Championship against Rey Mysterio. Last but not least, the main event everybody was waiting for. Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro defeat the Pride, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. So that was certainly a PLE. I don't know what to say about that. That was awful. So hopefully in the next one we get like a title match with like Cody Rhodes or Damian Priest. That was really strange. Okay, so we made it to Clash at the Castle, and this card is looking a little bit better. We have JD McDonough going up against Gunther in just a regular singles match. We also have DIY in another pay-per-view match, although they don't have titles, going up against Ivar and Eric. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven and Katana Chance and Caden Carter again on the card. Their rivalry must be red hot between the four of those. Sheamus going up against Rey Mysterio. So we got some Brawling Brutes versus LWO. Damian Priest versus Seth freaking Rollins. Finally a match that makes a little bit of sense as far as what is going on right now in WWE. Seth Rollins getting his rematch from Damian Priest, cashing in on him. And then the main event, Rhea Ripley defending her women's world title in a triple threat match against Tegan Nox and Zoe Stark. So that's the main event. It's funny, we have yet to see Cody Rhodes on a card. I'm going to have to look into maybe why he's not appearing, because that's a little bit odd. But nonetheless, this is Clash at the Castle, and let's see what happens on this one. So our first match, Gunther picks up, I'm sure, an easy win over JD McDonough. Ivar and Eric defeat DIY. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven get their revenge on Katana Chance and Caden Carter, and I'm sure what was a thriller. Sheamus beats Rey Mysterio, who is now on definitely a little bit of a losing streak at this point. Seth freaking Rollins beats Damian Priest to get his World Heavyweight Championship back. Damian Priest is the champ for just 2 short months before Seth Rollins wins his title back. And lastly, Mommy Rhea Ripley defeats Tegan Nox and Zoe Stark in a triple threat match to retain the Raw Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Alright, so let's go to Money in the Bank, one of the best times of the year. I love when Money in the Bank comes around. I don't even want to imagine who this game is going to put in this ladder match. I love the idea that Cody Rhodes has basically become Roman Reigns at this point and is just not defending his title in any PLE. But the women's match looks pretty solid, the Money in the Bank. We've got Charlotte, we've got Zelina Vega, Scarlett, Mike and Io Sky, Tamina, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. I'm messing with that match. That's gonna be fun. We got Jey Uso against JD McDonough. Ivar and Eric against R-Truth and The Miz for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Shotzi going up against Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Heavyweight title. Drew McIntyre against Damian Priest. Another match that just makes sense. Obviously, Damian Priest cashed in on Drew, so match makes total sense. And then we have another 8 superstar ladder match for the Women's World title with just about the same people who are in the Money in the Bank match. Okay, we might have to call an audible. We may have to call an audible here on this one because that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we're going to have to call an audible here. I really, really don't want to edit this, but we're just going to have to edit something because that doesn't make any sense. So we're going to edit this and we're going to put an 8 superstar ladder match for the Money in the Bank. And what we're going to do is we are just going to clear out all of these women because, again, that just makes 0 sense. And we are just going to go random. Has to be people who are currently wrestling at least. All right, Sami Zayn. I guess I could have did Cody. That would have been fun. Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins, Jey Uso, The Rock. What a ladder match. Gunther and Bobby Lashley. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line. And so that will be that. Again, I hate to do edits, but obviously we have to edit the men's Money in the Bank ladder match in this. So that's the men's Money in the Bank. Sami Zayn, The Rock, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Gunther, and Bobby Lashley. That seems like a pretty fun ladder match. All right, so first up, we have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and this is going to be a lot of fun. The winner is Zelina Vega. Wow, so Zelina Vega beating some of the top superstars in WWE, and she is Miss Money in the Bank. Senor Money in the Bank. Now we have Senorita Money in the Bank. Jey Uso against JD McDonough, and main event Jey Uso picks up the win. Yeet. Awesome Truth retains the Raw Tag Team Championships against Ivar and Eric. Rhea Ripley beats Shotzi. She is on a hell of a run as her title reign continues. Damian Priest beats Drew McIntyre. As a big Drew fan, that would just suck. He needs to get a win at some point. And finally, last but not least, the 8-man ladder match for the Money in the Bank. And the winner is Roman Reigns. So the Tribal Chief wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. Oh boy, Cody Rhodes, you better watch your back. All right, next up we have Summerslam, the biggest party of the summer. Are we going to see like Cody Rhodes at any point? Are we going to see CM Punk at any point in this simulation? Okay, so taking a look at our champions, and titles have changed hands on some of the other shows. Roman Reigns is the undisputed Universal Champion again, so I'm assuming he cashed in his Money in the Bank. So that's fun. Cody Rhodes already is not the champ anymore. Seth freaking Rollins is the World Heavyweight Champion. We knew that. Gunther won back his Intercontinental title. So we're just reverting back basically to before WrestleMania. Karrion Kross at some point became the US Champion and beat Logan Paul, which is fun. And so we definitely have had some title changes on some of the minor shows, but these major shows we've pretty much had like nothing. Alright, let's take a look at our SummerSlam card. It is not looking the best. Sheamus against Rey Mysterio in a rematch. Sami Zayn against Cedric Alexander. Kevin Owens in Sami Zayn's corner. Zelina Vega going up against Bayley, who I guess is back with Damage Control. Okay. Jey Uso against JD McDonough again. Shotzi against Rhea Ripley for no championship. Damian Priest against Drew McIntyre in the rematch. Cody Rhodes going up against Bray Wyatt, who unfortunately has passed away with Uncle Howdy in his corner, but hey, we're simming, why not? The main event of SummerSlam, this is it. The biggest match, the biggest show. Is it The Rock and Cody Rhodes? Is it Roman Reigns and The Rock? No. It is Dirty Dominic Mysterio against Johnny Gargano in a Hell in a Cell match. Okay. So clearly the simming in this game is awful as we begin to simulate this SummerSlam. First match of the night, Rey Mysterio gets his revenge and gets a win against Sheamus. Second match of the night, Sami Zayn defeats Cedric Alexander. Zelina Vega, I guess she maybe cashed in her Money in the Bank and is the Women's World Champion. So congrats to Zelina Vega on the big win. Jey Uso again defeats JD McDonough. Rhea Ripley beats Shotzi, so even if that was a title match, that would not have mattered. Damian Priest defeats Drew McIntyre again, which is nice. Cody Rhodes beats Bray Wyatt, and in our big main event, Dirty Dominic Mysterio defeats Johnny Gargano in a Hell in a Cell. So we're going through Payback now, and clearly the simming in this game, as I said before, is just awful. I mean, the rivalries they put together make no sense. They don't put world title matches on last. It's really, really, really bad. But it's kind of fun. It's like literally completely random. You never know what you're going to see. Payback, we have no title matches at all, which is great. But we have some pretty cool, I guess, we have like 5 Extreme Rule tag matches, so that's kind of fun. So we've got Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. And I guess that they thought Payback was Extreme Rules because all of these are Extreme Rule tag matches. Sangha and Veer Mahan versus Ciampa and Gargano. Eric and Ivar versus Imperium. The Creed Brothers versus Pretty Deadly. Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso in a steel cage match. Okay, how did that match come about? Interesting. That actually would be an interesting one. And then the main event, again, we are just getting this match down our throats. Chelsea Green, Piper Niven versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Again, this time they are putting it on the main event. 5 tag matches and 1 singles match. My God. So first match of the night, we have Isla Dawn and Alba Fire defeat Damage Control. Secondly, we've got Sangha and Veer Mahan defeat DIY. Next, we have the Viking Raiders defeat Imperium. God, there's so many tag matches. What is this? Creed Brothers defeat Pretty Deadly. This match I actually would be interested in seeing in real life as Cody Rhodes defeats Jey Uso. And then last but not least, we've got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter hopefully put an end to what has been one of the just most awful rivalries I've ever seen. But nonetheless, they pick up the win, and that is Payback. That may be the worst PLE of all time. All right, let's get to Fastlane. I was hoping we would actually see some interesting stuff, but so far, these pay-per-views the game have put together, you've got to be kidding me. Oh my God. They're actually doing this match. This is the 4th PLE we have seen this match. Oh my God. All right. What else do we got? Another tag match. Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes for the World Heavyweight title. And then Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark in a last woman standing match. So honestly, it's so weird because like these last 3 matches I could totally see happening and would probably be a lot of fun, but the first 3 are just awful. I don't know what's going on. I don't even care what happens in that match at this point. Like, I really don't care. Butch and Ridge Holland versus LWO. And it will be Butch and Ridge Holland pick up the win. Another tag match, Imperium against Otis and Chad Gable. And Otis and Gable win. Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. Jey Uso picks up the win over Damian Priest, and apparently Charlotte Flair won the Women's Championship. Next, we've got Seth freaking Rollins versus Cody Rhodes in a last man standing match, and Cody Rhodes finishes his story and becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. He finally did it. And last but not least, Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark. And Zoe Stark beats Rhea Ripley in a last women's standing match to become the Women's World Heavyweight Champion. So here's our champions. Roman Reigns defeated Cody Rhodes. I guess he cashed in his Money in the Bank. And then AJ Styles took the belt off of Roman Reigns after just 56 days as champion. Okay. Cody Rhodes is now World Heavyweight Champion. Bronson Reed is Intercontinental Champion. Awesome Truth is having a hell of a run as the Raw Tag Team Champions. The Bloodline, Jimmy and Solo are the SmackDown Tag Champions. Cameron Grimes is U.S. Champion. Okay. Cameron Grimes is the United States Champion as Elite John Cena had the belt for 405 days. So Cameron Grimes defeated... Well, hold on a second. Cameron Grimes defeated Ricochet? Because he's in the middle there. I don't know. Man, Universe Mode is so messed up. Zoe Stark just defeated Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title. Charlotte Flair is again the Women's Champion. And we have Asuka and Kairi Sane still the Raw Women's Tag Team Champions. I assume with all these tag matches, we would see someone go after those belts, but I guess not. I'm really scared to see what these War Games match looks like. This is going to be... Oh man, this could be rough. All right, here we go. Survivor Series. We're starting off good. Oh my God. That is... All right. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, the match that I will not even say anymore. War Games match between Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Bianca Belair, and Micah versus Asuka, Charlotte Flair, Tamina, and Scarlett. Just completely random. Literally completely random. Why would it not be? If Asuka's in, like, should be Damage Control. R-Truth against Rey Mysterio. Shotzi versus Rhea Ripley for, well, neither of them are champion. Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes for the World Heavyweight title. That's fun. And then the main event. Okay, a match that kind of makes sense as far as factions at least. We have Imperium and Ciampa versus Chad Gable, Tozawa, Otis, and then Ricochet. So I'm interested to see how Ricochet and Ciampa got involved in that, but nonetheless, that is what we got. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, and it looks like Damian Priest will pick up the win again. Drew McIntyre cannot win a match on this simulation. Second match I don't care about. The War Games match, it is the team of Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Bianca Belair, and Myken who pick up the win. R-Truth versus Rey Mysterio. R-Truth picks up the win. Good for him, as Shotzi beats Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley cannot win a match in this simulation at this point. Cody Rhodes defeats Jey Uso again and retains his World Heavyweight title. And then the main event, the War Games match, it is Imperium and Ciampa who pick up the victory. It's sad to say, but that may have been the best PLE so far, and that's really, really sad. This is going to get weird. We're going to get weird. I already know whoever they pick to win the Royal Rumble is just going to be so random. I mean, obviously, with the way these shows have gone, it's going to be super random. I cannot believe the amount of tag matches that the simulations put, and again, has it been every pay-per-view so far we've seen this dumbass match? Oh my god, I'm literally about to remove these 4 women from the roster so they stop putting this match on. This is crazy. My god. Alright, let's go ahead and simulate through this. First match of the night, it is going to be DIY who picks up the win. Can Awesome Truth be stopped? They cannot. They retain their tag team championships again. I'm not even acknowledging that at this point. The Men's Royal Rumble. And the winner is Roman Reigns. Oh my god. So Roman Reigns wins the Money in the Bank. He cashes in, wins the title, loses it, and now he is the Royal Rumble winner. Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre finally wins a match in this simulation. Let's go. And this one I have a feeling is going to be really random, as Alexa Bliss picks up the win. Okay, so Roman Reigns and Alexa Bliss, honestly, not awful. Not awful. For what I was expecting, that's not terrible. Alright, let's go up to the Elimination Chamber here and see if anyone can punch their ticket to WrestleMania 41. And let's see if this match or this show looks decent at all, or if it just continues to look awful. We continue to have a lot of tag matches as usual, as now we have New Day against the Creed Brothers, Ciampa against Imperium, Bronson Reed versus Apollo Crews, the women's Elimination Chamber match, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, and then the main event, Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight title. That one actually looks like a blast. Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Nakamura, Braun Strowman, and Cody Rhodes. That one actually seems fun. And most importantly, we do not have the match in which we do not talk about on this card. That is a blessing, as the Creed Brothers win the first match of the show. Next, we have DIY defeat Imperium. Bronson Reed defeats Apollo Crews. Women's Elimination Chamber match. Rhea Ripley picks up the win as she's back in the win column. Drew McIntyre defeats Damian Priest. They've been in a rivalry for almost 10 months at this point. And then finally, the World Heavyweight Championship. It is Seth freaking Rollins. So he beats Cody Rhodes right before WrestleMania to win back that title. And we'll see if there's a possible rematch between those two at WrestleMania 41. As that is the next show. There's going to be 14 matches on this WrestleMania card. At this point, I have no idea what this game is going to come up with, but here we go. WrestleMania 41, presumably going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, all the way to WrestleMania 41. What will be the main event? We have Bray Wyatt on the card. So first match of the night, Damian Priest versus Jey Uso, Hell in a Cell. Second, Asuka and Jade Cargill versus Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. That's actually pretty fun, so I guess Damage Control must have turned on Asuka at some point. We've got Pretty Deadly versus the LWO. Like I said, I guess Santos Escobar joined back. 4-way tornado tag match for the Raw Tag Team titles, in which Awesome Truth has had those belts for a year at this point. Creed Brothers, Viking Raiders, New Day, and Awesome Truth. Bronson Reed versus Tozawa in a Hell in a Cell match. 2 Hell in a Cell matches on this card. Bronson Reed versus Tozawa. Okay. If you thought it was pretty random, it doesn't get any more random than A-Town Down Under and the final boss, The Rock, against The Pride. That is about as random as it possibly gets. Braun Breaker versus AJ Styles for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I honestly would love to see this match. This match would be absolutely freaking awesome. Karrion Kross versus Logan Paul for the US title. Okay. Big E has now come back at this point, and he is going up against Cody Rhodes. Gunther versus Omos for the Intercontinental title, and another Hell in a Cell match. We are up to 3 Hell in a Cell matches at this point. Gunther versus Omos could honestly be fun. Bayley versus Charlotte in a normal women's match for the Undisputed Women's Championship. Bayley fighting for that title 2 years in a row. Alexa Bliss going up against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley won the Elimination Chamber, so that match makes sense. She's trying to get her title back. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And you guessed it, folks, a Hell in a Cell match. And then last but not least, the main event, Roman Reigns main eventing the show yet again. His 10th WrestleMania main event. Another Hell in a Cell match against Bray Wyatt. Now, if this match was to happen, it would certainly be the main event. There's no doubt about that. I probably should have taken Bray Wyatt off the roster because obviously, unfortunately, he's passed away. But hey, he's here. If he was here, he'd be main event in WrestleMania against Roman Reigns for all we know. So that's the main event. Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns in a Hell in a Cell match. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Hell in a Cell matches on one card. I think there's like 25 Hell in a Cell matches in the history of WWE, and there's 5 at one WrestleMania. All right, let's sim these matches and see what happens. First up, we have Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso finally wins a match in this simulation. I feel like he's lost every match he's been in. Asuka and Jade Cargill defeat Damage Control. Pretty Deadly beat LWO. Will the Awesome Truth reign continue? It does. They have been champions for over a year now as they win the 8-way tag team match. Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa in a Hell in a Cell match. Okay, Bronson Reed picks up the win there. The most random match I think I've ever seen, as A-Town Down Under and the final boss, The Rock, lose to the Pride. Interesting. I like of all the matches that got a Hell in a Cell, this one doesn't, as Braun Breaker defeats AJ Styles to become the WWE Champion. Logan Paul against Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross retains his belt. Big E, presumably his return match against Cody Rhodes, and he loses to the American Nightmare. Gunther versus Omos in another Hell in a Cell match. Gunther picks up the victory. Bayley versus Charlotte, and Bayley wins the WWE Women's Championship for a second year in a row at WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss defeats Rhea Ripley to retain her championship belt. Seth freaking Rollins defeats Shinsuke Nakamura to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. And then the main event of WrestleMania 41 sees Bray Wyatt defeating Roman Reigns inside, you guessed it, Hell in a Cell. So let's take a look at our champions after WrestleMania 41. So we have the Universal Heavyweight Champion is Braun Breaker. The World Heavyweight Champion is Seth freaking Rollins. Intercontinental Champion is Gunther. The reign continues for the Awesome Truth. I don't think the Bloodline defended those titles one time on a PLA. Karrion Kross is the United States Champion. Bayley is the Women's World Champion. Asuka and Kairi Sane, believe it or not, are still the Women's Tag Team Champions. I have not seen them one time in this whole simulation defend those belts. And Alexa Bliss is the Women's World Champion. So like I said before, this game simulation is one of the worst you will see. I've said a lot of things on this channel about this game that I don't particularly like, but I do really enjoy this game, and I want to make videos talking about what I like about this game. But this game certainly needs a lot of work as far as universe simulations. For people who like the computer to simulate rivalries and pay-per-views for them like this, I mean, they don't put title matches at the end of shows. They don't weight those matches at all. There's so many tag matches. There's 5 Hell in a Cell matches. They do have tables on the pay-per-views that you can kind of play with, so that doesn't happen. But the fact you have to go in and do that for every single pay-per-view that you're simulating to is dumb, honestly, and should just be done by 2K. We should have the option to do it, but it should be done better by 2K for sure. But that's it. So that's, if WWE 2K24 was booking WrestleMania 40 to WrestleMania 41, that is how WWE 2K24 would do it. Thank God we have Paul Levesque booking and not WWE 2K24. I'll just say that. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this just insane madness of a simulation that I just had here on 2K. Thank you guys so much for the support. As always, I greatly appreciate it. We continue to be on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to be doing some giveaways here on the channel once we get there. More information about that will be coming out here soon. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you in the next video.